Hi everybody, my name is Mark Everett and welcome back to the Block Factory. Now in the previous video I just demonstrated the cabinet blocks, and at the very beginning I actually talked a little bit about the adding to the custom cabinet pull that happens in the elevations. And so what I thought I'd do is just go ahead and append the last video with a small video demonstrating how to add that custom pull. So let's just jump right into AutoCAD. Okay, in this video, what I'm going to do is demonstrate how to add a cabinet pull to these two pull details. Now, presently within these blocks, there is a HAFLA pull here. It's a bar pull, and the present version of it is a vertical version. I'm going to create one with a horizontal version because this has come up before. So what I'm going to do is reset this to vertical. This pull here doesn't need to be updated because it's only going to have a horizontal version of it in that block. So we'll update these two here. Now the first thing I want to do is open up this block and go to the HAFLA block. And I'm going to copy that because that's actually the individual pull for that detail in elevation. So I'm going to copy that. Actually, when I do this, I'll copy this, the two of them. And then what I'm going to do is go over to the visibility state and say new. Now this one here is the same number. So what I'm going to do is, instead of saying series, I'm just going to say vertical. And then when I say new, I'll put in here HAFLA 117.0605.600. And this time we're going to say horizontal. So now that's there. Now, unlike what I've done in the past, I've learned a couple things. So I will double click on here, make that the first one first. Then I'll go to my horizontal, and remember I copied these before. So if I paste them back in, before I paste them in, I will rotate this around 90, rotate this one around 90. Now I'm figuring on placing the end right at the center of 2 inches and 2 inches. If you have some other layout that you want to use, then that's something you have to work out in this block as you create it. But this is how I am creating it. Now we're presently in the horizontal version, so I don't need these to be showing up. So I don't want to delete them, but I do want to make them invisible using the visibility feature here to make it invisible. So I'm going to turn that off. Now if I wanted to actually see what was beyond, I'd make this visibility state opened up here, but I don't want to see it presently. So now I have those two pulls placed where I want them. Now I have to reapply these actions to the parameters that are here. This one's for the right pull, this one's for the left pull. So I'm going to right click. It's not new because if I do new, that deselects all the rest of the pulls. I want to add this one. So I'm going to select this, modify, add that one. Do the same thing for the vertical, modify this, and then last I want to mirror both this and this. Now one thing I've noticed about this, these pulls can be a little bit finicky if you don't do this last, and I hope this doesn't the way it should in there. It doesn't do what it used to do. If I hit save, now that it's saved, I'm going to go back to the visibility and I'm going to set that one as the primary and save. Now if I go to this block here now and go to horizontal, it shows up. So in the past I went through a different process and it didn't always show up. So now we're going to do the same thing to this pull, we're going to open this up. We're going to go to the HAFLA pull. We're going to grab this pull and copy it. Then we're going to go to the visibility states and add, well, change this first to vertical, and then add new HAFLA 117.05.600 horizontal. Now we have those. Let's go back to the top. Hit OK. Now I'm going to go and select the horizontal version. And before I turn this to be invisible, I'm going to go ahead and paste in the other pull that I copied, rotate this around, and place this right on the same intersection. I'm going to double check this. I believe it should be 2 inches. Yes, it is. Now I don't really need this on, so I'm going to go over here and make it invisible. And then reapply the actions to this new pull. So modify, modify, and modify. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to hit save. Then I'm going to go over to the block, visibility, to the first one, and then exit out and save. Now this should work. If it worked the last time, it should work the same. You see how it's not showing up. So sometimes you have to go back into the block, open it, save it. I always end up going back to the actual new block, saving it again. And I don't know why this happens, but for whatever reason it does sometimes. And then when I open that block up, it should show the horizontal pull. There you go. So hopefully that's helpful for you if you ever want to put another block in here. Just as another reference here, if I open up this particular block and I grab, let's turn the visibilities on and grab this pull. And I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to exit out of this block altogether. I'm not going to make any more modifications to this block. Now, if you take a look at this block, it's actually the pull in elevation, side, and end. So if I wanted to see all three, I can just scroll through the side and the end of that particular block. This block also has several different numbers for different lengths, and you can see that there is the ability to stretch it in increments of whatever predefined sizes. So that's how that particular block works. So if you're going to add a pull that has that many variations, but it basically looks the same, make that block as a block and then utilize the parts that you need, in this case the elevation. Here in the elevation, when you need the side and the end, that's when you're going to be in the vertical sections of these blocks later on. So I'm going to erase that, and that's actually going to help me the next time I use this cabinet and I have those bar pulls or anything close to that in my drawings. I can utilize that cabinet pull. So hopefully that was a helpful tip for you, and you'll be able to do that on your own.